Hey everybody, I have an update to do on the foster to adopt process. We actually had our first home study last Friday. And I know that I had a ton of questions on exactly, what that involved, what that would be like. So I definitely wanted to do a really in-depth video on it. We got a call, I want to say the middle of January to schedule it. I was glad he waited till the end of January because we've been doing so much stuff trying to prepare for the baby and everything, and I didn't want to make that seem like I couldn't handle doing both at the same time. So we got our house pretty much in order. Not exactly as far as I wanted to come with it, but whatever. It is a work in process, and anybody who's done any kind of remodeling at all knows that it takes 12 times as long as you think it's going to. Just to give you guys kind of an idea on that, we have been remodeling. I don't know exactly how much I've said about it. I know there's been bits and pieces about it here and there, but we bought a house. It'll be 7 years ago this July. The house itself is 100 years old. Yes, it was built in 1910. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to completely gut the house down to the studs. We put all brand new electric, all new plumbing, put drywall on the walls because there was lath and plaster, which is so nasty. It's not even funny to tear down and take away. It's like, I'm so glad that the demolition portion is done. We finished that this summer with the last room, which was actually the baby's room upstairs, was the last room to demolition. And it is, anyone that's ever done anything like that knows it is just so extremely nasty. Like, you are just black from head to toe, and you can wear a mask and everything, and it's just disgusting. I'm so glad it's done. But so we have redone almost the entire house at this point. We're working on the attic now, the baby's room, and the room right outside the baby's room, and that's it. Once we finish those rooms, well, technically there's another room, but those are the main rooms that we're, really concentrating on finishing. Our plan is to finish them before the baby gets here. Again, with remodeling, you can plan, and it doesn't always happen as you want. But our plan has always been, especially since the baby was born, that we would refinish the attic. We have a full-size attic that had no access before, so we have built stairs. The stairs my husband actually just finished yesterday, the top step. The stairs have been completed, so now what we're going to do is finish off the attic, and I'll talk about that a little bit with the home study because that became a whole issue in itself, but whatever. The first thing I talk about is exactly what happened. So he called and scheduled the appointment. We sat down with him. He was only here for maybe an hour, and we sat down and, we had to sign some paper, like a confidentiality notice. Basically, you discuss that in class, just says that, these kids come in, you can't be sharing their information with everybody, obviously. I forget what other paperwork. We might have signed some other stuff. I mean, it wasn't any big thing. And then he gave us some things that we have to work on getting completed. The first one, and, I live in New York State, so obviously it's going to be different every single state. But we have to, as part of the background check, they have to have your addresses. I spoke about this a little bit before. Back so far, still no exact determination on how far back they have to go. But you get this form. It's 2 pages. You just have to fill out like your name, any maiden names you've had, your current address, and all your previous addresses for however long, which still remains to be determined. So, I had started working on that a little bit on the computer, just typing, up our addresses. For me, it's not hard because I grew up in the same house, since I was 5. Went to college, I lived in a couple apartments and things like that, but nothing horrible. My husband has moved all over everywhere between here and California. So, every single year of his life, basically, until he was an adult. So it's going to be a mess with him, but, we'll see. We got paperwork to go get a free drug test, a urine test. No big deal there. So we have to go do that. And I'll talk with you, I'm kind of holding off on that, and I'll talk with you a little bit about why. We also got paperwork to have physicals done. The physicals have to be done. The physician basically has to certify that we are fit to give adequate care to foster children or we're unfit. That's basically all they have to say. And it looks like they require a chest x-ray. I really haven't even looked over this paperwork. And again, I'll talk about that in just a second. We had to fill out paperwork to get our fingerprints done. We have to go to the sheriff's office and get them. They scan them in now, I guess. I don't really know anything about that. But to get that done so that they can do a full background check. And the last thing that they have to, that we had to fill out was just basically like a financial information sheet. It basically says, who my husband's employer is, how much he makes. I don't work, so I put my unemployment on it because I do get unemployment. I was laid off. I don't know if they'll count that or not. I don't, my husband makes enough, so it shouldn't be a huge issue. And then you just have to put how much your mortgage is, what the balance is owed, any other real estate, rent if you have it, insurance, how much you owe, and the payment, heat, how much you owe in the payment. Like if you have a car loan, credit cards, any other loans, you have to tell them who your homeowner's insurance is through, who your automobile insurance is through who your rental's through if you have that. So we have to work on all that, getting that all done. So basically we sat down, there were parts that he had us fill out while he was here, the fingerprint paper, because that has to be filled out specifically and he wanted to make sure it was done right. So we filled that out. And then he wanted to, just a really basic tour of the house. I had mentioned before, some people had said, and maybe it will get more in depth, I don't know. But he just basically walked in rooms and looked, just to kind of see what we had. So everything was fine. Now, I'm sure that you guys remember, I think I said it before during the classes, that, we told them that the only space we had, and I know, I'm going to upload a video of the first floor, but you haven't seen the second floor. We have on the second floor our bedroom and the baby's room, which you guys saw. The room outside the baby's room, which is not a bedroom, and the bathroom. So the space that we have for children is in the attic. First of all, what kind of made me a little mad is we've told them this, made it very clear of our situation. And he's like, well, they don't like to see kids in the attic. That irritated me so much. Because, this is like an investment of our time. And it's not, I don't like how they're handling it. I've said that all along. I don't like the fact that, they give you, they say something's fine and then it's not. There's so many things that they should just tell you up front, because if they're going to be, picky about things, then those are things you should know, and you shouldn't waste your time going to these classes every weekend. I'm sorry, I was just thrown off by the fact that I just realized on my computer that there's a counter for the time, and I've never ever noticed that before. Anyhow, so whatever, he says, but that's usually something, as long as it doesn't, as long as an open space or whatever, it doesn't look like an attic. I don't know. He said there had to be 2 ways out of each room, which there is. Every room that we're going to have in the attic is going to have a window and a door, so that's not going to be a problem. So we went upstairs and we showed him the stuff, the attic. Now, the one thing I will say is a little bit about the remodeling as well. The only person that had ever been in the attic before we began this process is my husband, because when we moved in here, upstairs in the bathroom, which I showed you guys pictures of, where the toilet used to sit, which is not where it sits now, so that's not helpful to you. But to the right of the sink, if you go back to that video which shows the remodel of the upstairs bathroom, above that sink, or above that where the toilet used to sit, there was a crawl space, but it's not a crawl space to the attic. It was a space probably literally maybe 8 to 12 inches wide, maybe not even, and I definitely could not fit through there. My husband was the only one that was able to get up there, and